Rohan was a 24-year-old man who lived in a quiet neighborhood on the edge of the city, where small houses stood close together and the sound of traffic hummed in the distance. Life in this part of town was simple, busy, and uncertain. But inside Rohan's heart, everything felt heavy, restless, and stuck. Every morning, when the sun filled his small room with warm light, Rohan still felt paralyzed. He would lie in bed scrolling through his phone, watching motivational videos, reading about success. Yet he never moved. He never started. His friends completed their projects, built their businesses, and woke up full of purpose. But Rohan felt stuck in the same place, repeating the same frozen feeling each day. His desk was covered with unfinished work. His gym membership card sat untouched for 6 months. His novel, the one he swore he would write, remained at chapter 1 for over a year. People in his building often said, "Rohan is smart, but he always talks and never does." And Rohan knew it was true. One evening after another wasted day, Rohan sat on the small balcony of his apartment. He watched the streetlights flicker on one by one and whispered to himself, "Why do I always wait? Why can I never just start?" While he sat in frustration, he heard rhythmic footsteps on the stairs. A man in running shoes and a faded gray t-shirt appeared, breathing steadily. Everyone in the building called him Kabir, the man who ran every single day. He was known for his discipline, his calm energy, and his ability to finish everything he started. Kabir lived 2 floors above Rohan, and though they'd exchanged greetings, they'd never really talked. Kabir stopped at the landing, stretching his legs. He looked at Rohan and said gently, "You look like someone waiting for permission to begin." Rohan looked up with surprise. "How do you know what I feel?" Kabir smiled softly and sat on the railing beside him. "Because I used to be you. Your eyes are full of ideas, but your body never moves. That's not laziness. That's the weight of overthinking." Rohan felt something break inside him. He felt seen. He took a deep breath and said, "I wake up every day telling myself I'll start. I'll write my book. I'll go to the gym. I'll finish that project. But by evening, I've done nothing. I say I'll change tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes." "How do you do it? How do you run every single day?" Kabir nodded slowly and looked at the darkening sky. "My friend, you believe that motivation comes first, then action follows. But the truth is different. It is not your lack of discipline that stops you. It is your demand for perfection. And a mind that demands perfection cannot take the first step." He pointed to his running shoes. "These shoes are my secret. Every morning, I don't tell myself I'll run 5 kilometers. I don't tell myself I'll exercise for an hour. I tell myself only one thing: I will put on my shoes. That's it. 2 minutes. Just put them on." He smiled. "And you know what happens? Once my shoes are on, I always run. Once I'm at the door, I always go outside. Once I take the first step, momentum takes over. The start is everything. Finishing becomes automatic." Rohan leaned forward with curiosity. "You mean you trick yourself into starting?" Kabir shook his head. "Not a trick. A truth. Your brain resists big commitments. Write a chapter feels impossible. But open your laptop? That's easy. Go to the gym for an hour feels exhausting. But put on workout clothes? Anyone can do that." He continued, "Choose one habit you want to build. Any habit. Then break it down to the smallest possible action, something you can do in 2 minutes or less. Not the whole task. Just the gateway. For writing, it's opening your document. For exercise, it's putting on your shoes. For studying, it's sitting at your desk. For reading, it's opening the book. You commit only to those 2 minutes. Nothing more." Rohan asked, But what if I put on my shoes and still don't run? What if I open my laptop and still don't write? Kabir looked kindly at him. Then you celebrate anyway. Because you broke the pattern of avoidance. You prove to yourself that starting is possible. Most people never even get that far. They stay frozen in bed, trapped in their heads. He placed his hand on Rohan's shoulder. Listen carefully. The 2-minute rule is not about productivity. It's about identity. Every time you put on those shoes, even if you don't run, you become the kind of person who shows up. Every time you open that document, even if you don't write, you become the kind of person who tries. And over time, that identity becomes stronger than your resistance. That night, when Rohan returned to his room, he looked at his dusty laptop sitting on his desk. He took a deep breath and made himself a promise: tomorrow morning, I will only open my laptop. That's all. 2 minutes. The next morning, Rohan woke up and felt the familiar wave of resistance. His mind immediately began listing reasons to delay. But then he remembered Kabir's words. He didn't think about writing. He didn't think about chapter 1. He simply walked to his desk and opened his laptop. When the screen lit up, he felt something unexpected. His fingers moved to the keyboard. He opened his document. And without planning to, he wrote one sentence. Then another. Then a paragraph. 20 minutes passed before he even looked at the clock. When he finally stopped, he felt something strange. His chest felt lighter. His mind felt clearer. And for the first time in months, he felt proud of himself. The next morning, Rohan did it again. He told himself, just open the laptop. 2 minutes. And again, once it was open, he wrote. Some days he wrote for 10 minutes. Some days for an hour. But every single day, he opened the laptop. For his fitness, he applied the same rule. He didn't commit to working out. He committed to putting on his workout clothes. And once they were on, he usually exercised. Even on days when he didn't, he still counted it as a win. For the next 30 days, Rohan continued the habit. Every morning, he honored the 2-minute commitment. Every morning, momentum took over. His posture straightened. His energy increased. His confidence returned. People in his building began asking, what happened to Rohan? He looks different. More focused. More alive. Rohan simply said, I learned that I don't need to do the whole task. I just need to start. The rest takes care of itself. Weeks later, Rohan saw Kabir in the stairwell again. He smiled and said, I finished 3 chapters. And I haven't missed a workout in a month. Kabir nodded, already knowing. You didn't need discipline. You just needed permission to start small. 6 months later, Rohan had changed completely. He had built habits that gave him discipline, focus, and momentum. His novel was halfway finished. He had lost 15 pounds. He had launched the side project he'd been delaying for 2 years. But more importantly, he no longer feared starting. He understood that action created motivation, not the other way around. He understood that perfection was the enemy of progress. And he understood that every massive achievement in life begins with one tiny, 2-minute decision. The same people who once said he was all talk and no action now asked him for advice. His younger brother started using the 2-minute rule to study. His colleague used it to finally launch her business. Rohan's story teaches us that procrastination is not a character flaw. It is a response to overwhelm. When tasks feel too big, our brains protect us by avoiding them entirely. But when we shrink the task down to something laughably small, 2 minutes, we remove the overwhelm. We remove the resistance. And we unlock the door to momentum. The 2-minute rule is not about doing less. It's about starting without fear. Because once you start, finishing becomes natural. Maybe you also have a novel inside you that's never been written. Maybe you also have dreams collecting dust. Maybe you also tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. But remember, tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow is just today's excuse wearing a disguise. Your transformation will only begin when you stop demanding perfection and start demanding presence. Your new life can begin with 2 minutes. Not 2 hours. Not tomorrow. 2 minutes today. Put on your shoes. Open your laptop. Pick up that book. Sit at your desk. Make that phone call. Send that message. Don't commit to finishing. Just commit to starting. Because once you start, momentum takes over. The beginning is everything. The ending writes itself. Remember, you don't need to climb the whole mountain today. You just need to take the first step. And that step takes only 2 minutes. What will your 2 minutes be? If this story reminded you that starting is more powerful than planning, hit that like button. If you know someone who's stuck in the paralysis of perfection, share this with them. And drop a comment below, what's your 2-minute action going to be today? Because your future self is waiting for you to begin. Not tomorrow. Not when you're ready. Not when it's perfect. Right now. 2 minutes. Go.